Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Builder Show, the show where we build builders. As always, I'm with my co-host, Wilson Betances. Wilson, are you staying warm out there?
Oh man, we're getting ready for this downfall of snow. We're supposed to get like 13 inches over here. How about you?
Something like that. About a foot of snow, several inches of ice, but it changes every day. So we'll see what happens tonight going into tomorrow. But I want to jump right into our topic because on our last podcast, we spoke on several different podcast or several different topics, and one topic came up that apparently is controversial. I didn't think it is, but a lot of other people do. And so, Will, why do electricians keep getting this wrong?
What are you talking about, Cameron? I saw nothing wrong with
You
it.
you know the thing that we talked about last episode. You don't remember? We talked about a few
I
things,
just
but
I just know it pissed a whole bunch of people off that I feel like aren't even contractors.
whoa, throwing some shade. It's always the ones who aren't really the same. You know what? I'm just going to digress before I get myself in trouble. Why electricians keep getting this one thing wrong. And what this one thing is this idea that your quality of work is the number one, or if not the number one, a very important selling point whenever you're in a conversation with a customer trying to close a job. So let me rephrase that in a shorter version. Why do electricians keep getting this one thing wrong? Why do electricians think that quality work is the number one selling point for a customer?
Mm. I think a lot of contractors, a lot of electricians, we're not taught these things. We're not taught what's actually valuable. And I think it always goes back to the way we were raised, the way that we were taught to trade. Remember, a lot of people don't know how to teach. So when we're going in, all we think is good work, good work, good work. We're like, that's our badge of honor. Like, that's all we have to do. Like, I even remember, I don't even care at this point. There's individuals that we had problems with in the past, and they were like, well, what do these guys know? I'm a better electrician anyway. And then they ended up closing down shop. You know, it doesn't matter how good of an electrician you are if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to read a contract, if you don't know how to handle business, if you can't deal with stress. Guess what? You can run the straightest wires all you want. I'm going to stay in business. And it's coming down to the point where the focus, when it comes to the trades, when it comes to electricians, you people who are apprentices coming in have to recognize that there is so much more to being an electrician than actually an electrician. And I started thinking about that and applying that concept when it's like when with people who are working out or getting in shape or becoming an athlete, they always talk about there's so many things that they have to do outside of the gym. True or not? Where they're like abs are 80% in the kitchen, 20% in the gym. Or athletes have to do all these meditation or pre-workout to just to get into the zone. Because if you're just a normal dude who's gonna argue with his wife or argue with your kids or be stressed about the day to day and think you can just go fight like nobody's business and just win, it's ridiculous. So a lot of people think you can just show up to work without practice or show up to work and just say, because I'm talented, I'm always going to be in of value. No, you'll always hold down a job. You'll be, you know, your contractor's number one employee. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you doing great work is so superficial. It's so secondary and it won't actually help you in the long run. I personally believe. How about you?
Of course, I agree with that. What is interesting is right now, a lot of boomers who started contracting companies, electrical companies, plumbing, HVAC, the whole nine yards, a lot of them are selling their businesses. They want to get out of it. And Will, guess who they're selling to?
Well, they're
So
selling to
what types of people? What types of people are buying these
white
businesses?
collar, white collar
White
private
collar
equity.
dudes, white collar people who don't know what the flip is going on in the trade. They don't know anything about electrical. They don't know crap about plumbing or HVAC. But guess what? They are buying these businesses, and they need license holders. That's the problem. Is these white collar people are buying these businesses, but they're like, oh crap, I need a license. I can't just transfer, Bob Smith's license over to my name. I need a license holder. So they're scrambling, trying to find license holders. But that's really not the point. The point is that white collar individuals who don't know anything about what we're doing on the field are buying these businesses, and they're still running them even better than what they were before.
Yep.
That should tell you that this is much deeper than
I do good
how.
work.
Yeah, this is much deeper on how straight or on how straight your EMT pipe is going up a wall. This is much deeper than how pretty your panel looks. Okay. There's way more to it than, oh, my clean work. That's Instagram bull crap. Okay. What I've always said is, yes, do good quality work. Who's going to argue with that? No one's going to argue and say don't do quality
The
work.
code even says that you have to do it in a workman-like manner.
Right. No one's going to say don't do that. The issue is when you find your identity in your work, you're so wrapped up in all this other stuff. And guess what? I think the reason that people are so gung-ho about defending this, which I haven't even heard a legitimate rebuttal to any of this yet. I think the reason why they're so defensive is because that's all they have is good work. Congratulations. You can bend pipe.
Yeah.
You can bend a better 90 than me. Congratulations. You can, make your wires look straighter and cleaner. Hey, I'm not dissing it, right? But when you start coming to the defense and you don't even have a legitimate argument against some of the things that we've been saying on this podcast, that's all you have is your clean work and your Instagram page, dude. That's all you got. So until then, I don't even want to hear it from you anymore. Next, make a rebuttal video. Make a rebuttal video, not using straw man arguments, okay? Actually dealing with the arguments we're making. Make a case. But no one wants to do that yet. No one wants to make a video talking and defending some of the stuff that they're defending on social media.
That's, to me, it's just insanity because it's really showing you, one, I was expecting more from us. Like, give me something to believe that we're not right. But it's kind of upsetting because if we only talk about how good our work is, that's just it's pretty shallow to me if you think about it, right? Because then it's like it's almost depressing because then it has like we have nothing to talk about. Now, that's upsetting because we know, number one, the trades can give you something that we never knew was possible. We know the value of what it means to get licensed. We know the value of a hard day's worth of work. But when it comes to communicating, and that's what this is, the premise of our conversation about today, it's about communicating. We need to have better communicators in electrical, communicating with GCs, communicating with homeowners, communicating with inspectors, communicating with each other. The simple fact that these guys think, well, I let my work speak for myself. My work sells itself. That means that, once again, they're not good at talking for themselves because people just don't understand. And this whole scenario, it's basically which came first, the chicken or the egg? We know people say, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it had to be the egg because because that's where all life begins. It's like, oh, well, how did that egg stay warm enough to crack or hatch itself? So it had to be a chicken. But then how did the chicken come first? It's a conundrum. You're always going to spin your wheels thinking about it. So I love how you broke it down today. You said, I'm not saying quality work doesn't matter. But when it comes to tackling work, the homeowner is not asking for that. All right? Insecure contractors, insecure electricians are going to use that as a selling point because they have nothing else to base it off of. Once again, now if you want to base something or your conversation on something so superficial like, oh my God, I do great work, you are opening yourself up to not winning that job. Because guess what? The next contractor is going to say, well, I do great work too. So now who do you, as the homeowner, choose? Well, that guy said he does great work, but baby, so did that guy. So basically, if you both have the same selling point, you're both Xing each other out. You understand? I guarantee you, if you two contractors are competing with who does better work, well, I do better work. And I walk in and I say, hey, man, we're going to communicate with you. We'll update you along the project. And hey, if anything goes wrong, here's my personal number. Here's this, here's that. We'll give you updates as long as the project goes through and blah, 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 blah. While y'all two are fighting about whose pipe is straighter, measuring each other's pipes, I'm over here closing out the job. And I think that all starts from us as apprentices coming into the trade, because we want to impress everybody. We want that attaboy, we want that pizza party, we want that gold sticker. But I feel like there's so much more that we have to talk about. There's so much more that we have to showcase for these apprentices coming in. And that's what I want to go over today. What customers and what contractors, what are they actually looking for? And there's 5 qualities I think we all have to keep in mind. Cameron, do you see that part 3?
Yeah. So what customers actually buy first is
Yeah.
what we're.
And I would also say what contractors are looking for in apprentices.
Okay.
Because apprentices are, if they stay with that mentality, they're just going to keep coming in and saying, well, I do good work. I don't want my guys calling me saying, look at my work. Like, bro, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm
What
going
does
to
it?
act.
What does that even mean anyway?
There we go.
What does clean
But
work
what,
even mean? Who decides if it's clean? I think the ultimate decision maker in that is the homeowner. I can think something looks fine, but the homeowner may not like it exactly like that, even though I think it looks clean. Clean,
yep,
clean work, good work, quality work. It's all subjective. I
it
mean,
is. It is.
code is more objective. That's more black and white. But clean work, if that's what you're basing everything on, there's no standard for that. It's all
There is.
your opinion.
And at the same time, I never seen somebody in business saying, hey, pay me this much and you get clean work. Pay me this much and I'll give you crappy work.
Yeah, who talks like that?
Yeah, no, but quality is not quality is already assumed. You're already supposed to be doing good work. You understand? No one's going to sell crappy work. Like, hey, this is the cheap option, so I'll do hack work. No one says that. But what are these 5 qualities that you as an apprentice, what are the 5 qualities you as a contractor can actually use, develop to sell yourself for a higher value? The first is responsiveness. You want to be able to be approachable. When something happens, can I get a hold of him? Trust me, when when homeowners have an issue and they want to speak to somebody for help, usually the first person who reaches out gets the job. They don't care about price. They don't care about how clean your work is. Their number one pain point is getting somebody out there. True or not?
True. I did a service call yesterday, and the homeowner told me how she got charged, or she paid $10,000 for 2 panel swaps, and like there were hardly any circuits in either one. I didn't say nothing. I'm not gonna make her feel worse, but what I'm trying to say is in my mind I was thinking, man, if she would have just called me first, I could have done it for like 6 instead of 10.
There you go.
So
So whoever did crappy work left her with more questions. They got the job first because they responded first. Clarity. If you are leaving that customer, or if you're talking to your boss and he's leaving with more questions than answers, trust me, they're not going to go with you. If you talk to a homeowner and you say, this is what we're going to do, and sure or not, Cameron, that's what we're learning with on our school side. When we're having these meetings, we have to create a slide deck, and it's like, tell us the next 6 months. Step by step, tell us what you want. Hey, this is what we're looking for. This is why we're looking for it. This is our ask. This is what we'll deliver. This is our timetable. True or not, they're always asking for clarity. We want to know everything of what's going on. It's no more, hey, I got a nice idea. Hey, I will do great work. Hey, we'll get a lot of views. That doesn't matter to them. How are we going to deliver on this promise? They want to know day by day. They want to know update by update. They want clarity when it comes to everything. Next is confidence. Ahs, I don't know. And confidence, I struggled with this in the beginning because at the same time, confidence is very, very closely tied with humility. There's a fine line between the two because at first, when I first started business, I thought you confidence and being humble there was a disconnect, and I recognized you couldn't be confident and still be humble. You know, where you go, well, I'm going to do my best. You know, that's a humble statement to make, and you know, a homeowner could take that as like, oh, thank you for saying that. But at the same time, what are we doing here? You're a licensed electrician. I'm confident I'm going to get this job complete because of this is the steps we're going to take. This is how we're going to do it. This is the roadmap that we need to make. And at the end of the day, that confidence is going to speak for itself. And then, Cameron, you want to touch on the last 2 points?
Yeah, the fourth one is speed. Will, can you help me with this? What do we mean by speed exactly?
Speed. How soon can you get there?
Yeah, so responsiveness, that kind of goes along with the first point.
Mm-hmm.
How fast can you get to the job? So not only how fast are you going to respond, but how fast you're going to get there. I'm telling you, I can speak to my experience. This is huge along with the first point, responsiveness and speed. They want to know what they want. They want you to answer the phone, number one. Secondly, the follow-up is when can you come out?
Mm-hmm. True or not? That's every
week. Oh, nope. That's not acceptable. Not acceptable. And I know everyone has scaled differently in their business and they do different types of work. But we're talking about in the context when someone calls you, so quote unquote service call, service related work, answering the phone is first step, number one. Speed is number two. I'm telling you, a customer will call like 4 or 5 electricians in a row till someone answers. If none of them answer, she'll leave voicemails or he will leave voicemails. Whoever calls back first gets the job. 100%.
Every time.
Also coupled with speed. Because if you answer the phone, but you can't get out there soon enough, they're just going to move on to someone else. They're going to keep calling until they get someone that meets their requests, meets their expectations. So speed is very important. And that's sometimes I've just told them I can't do that and it just doesn't work out, and that's fine, right? But the point is that that's a huge factor in this, right? We're talking about sales. We're talking about securing jobs. Responsiveness and speed are crucial in that. The last point is predictability. Will, what do you mean by predictability?
When if I'm going to have someone at my house, I want to make sure they mean what they say and they're going to do what they said they're going to do. Do you have values? Do you have a uniform? I don't want surprises on my job site. You understand? If you say you are coming out to my house and your name is John Smith, why is there a Larry here? You understand? When you show up to my house, I want to make sure I know who's coming. If I go on your website, does it show like a whole bunch of crazy stuff? You know, I want my electricians clean cut. I want them to come to if you're going to be around my family, kids, I need to make sure I'm hiring somebody trustworthy. You understand? That's about the person. That's more about the character, not about work.
Yeah, I agree. I am usually on most of our service calls. I'm on every service call actually. So I'm not there yet where I'm sending one of my guys by himself or a crew by themselves. If I was, I would let the customer know, hey, appreciate you calling me. You know, we're gonna meet each other on the phone a little bit probably. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna send so and so to your house on this day at this time. This is the name of the person. So it just helps with communication. It helps with what to expect. So like, who the heck are you showing up here? Right?
Yep. And the reason why this is so important, the reason why we have to go over all of these things is because so many electricians get so defensive because their identity is tied to their skill, and that's all that they can offer. If you disrespect them in their skills, that's why you see all these old guys. Their number one thing was like, "Hey, I've been doing this for 30 years." You're disrespecting the 30 years of work they put in. Or they will, bro, I'll run circles around you. I'll mop the floor with you on any job site. Like, that's all you got, bro. Like, it's literally tied to who they are. And I feel like the construction culture is that's what builds it all. But at the same time, we want to make sure that if you're coming into the trades, if you're looking to become an electrician, you have to remember that you got to separate this ego of trying to think like that's the only thing that matters goes. And, I remember during my apprenticeship, I remember when I first started as an electrical apprentice, I would always be paired up with different crews. And each crew, you knew their reputation. You know, if these were the hardworking crew, this was the cool crew, this was the guy who was just going to complain all day. And what's crazy is when you always worked with those negative electricians, they always badmouth everyone else and they always hype themselves up. Oh man, this is beneath me. Oh man, I'm better than this. Oh man, they're just afraid. They just know I can outwork anybody. And then they always focused on just how much they can work, 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 work. Yet they had their egos, they had crappy attitudes. Every minute you're working with them, you felt like it was a freaking dread. It's crazy how all these guys who swear they're the best workers out there, they think they're the hottest thing next to sliced bread, that these guys have nothing else in their life going for them. It's wild. I've never saw one. It's that expression, it's like the people who are actually killing it don't care. There's no competition. There's no this. These guys who hold themselves so prideful of, oh my God, that's all they got. They ain't got nothing else. You understand? They ain't got no loving at home. They ain't got no attention. Because after 5 o'clock, and those are those guys who become company men, where you drive around with them and they're always like, oh, well, that's what I used to do, and blah, 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 blah. And they're just going to be there for 30 years just talking about how they're the number one. And like, oh man, it's the same thing that we see all the time. And it's just crazy how we actually saw that roll out in this last post that we did.
Yeah, this is all tied in to a bigger issue that we have in our industry, which we've talked many times before, and that's the toxic culture, the egos, the negativity, the knuckle buster way. If you don't do it my way, hit the road, Jack. And what I find interesting is whenever we do content that speaks on these things, it's always the same people who have a problem with everything. I'm not saying that we're not open to other ideas, other views, that we don't want to have conversations with people who disagree, but it's always the same people who are always saying the same thing on every single post. It's almost expected. You're so predictable. I already know who out there is going to disagree with this. And lo and behold, you comment on the video and it's like, boom, what a surprise, dude. Seriously.
Exactly. Isn't that the funniest thing?
It's a package deal. They're all the same. In my mind, I group everyone. Well, let me rephrase that. In my mind, everyone's a part of a group. Okay. That's how I think through people. There's group A, group B, group C, and so on. I already know this group right here that has certain individuals in it that are going to disagree with everything under the sun. I can say the sky's freaking blue and you're going to disagree with it. Oh, it's really not blue. It's actually this.
Yeah.
If I would have said quality work means everything, it's how you sell jobs, you would have argued that it doesn't. But because we say it doesn't, you're just going to disagree with everything. And it's no surprise, Will, true or not, that it's always the same individuals who always have the same problems over and over and over again. And then you go look at their lives and it's like, well, I can understand why you disagree with everything.
Yeah. Every freaking time. And that's what we're trying to make as a baseline. So if you don't change, or if you just follow the status quo, we already know the end of the road. We already know where we're going to end up. And we want that different for you. So what are some things that we can do to change that? What are some things that if you're an apprentice, you're listening in and you're headed into work, or if you're an electrician thinking about becoming a contractor, you want to remember that customers or your contractor, your boss, they want to reward problem solvers. I'm the type of guy where if you are giving me solutions rather than problems, I want to keep you around. You understand? If you're there to remove stress, remove friction from a job site, people want that. People buy people rather than things. That's always been a thing. People's reputation, people's work ethic goes such a long way, especially when you're living it by character trust. That's the best thing. You understand? We have to stop getting into this mindset of just superficial things. You have so much to offer, especially with the trade like electrical. There are so many things coming down the pipeline, guys. You don't understand. If you are going to be an electrician, the level of difficulty is about to leave. If you are coming or becoming an electrician in 2026, you are starting off at the best years. I want to make this clear. If you are thinking about becoming an electrician in 2026, 2027, 2028, you are going to be successful. Why? In 2026, we have a code update. In 2029, they're revamping everything. You are going to be starting from ground zero with everybody else. Everyone else is going to have to learn the new code. Everyone else is going to have these new rules. We are coming into a generational change. And if you're coming into the trade, or if you've already been in the trade, this is where everybody's going to be on equal level playing field. And if you put in a little bit of effort, you're going to mop the floor with everybody. If you put a little bit of effort right now when everything's brand new, this is the time that you're going to solidify a name, a reputation for yourself. And it has nothing to do with how hard you work. I'm telling you, in the next 3 years, from 2026 to 2029, you can literally change your entire life, because the opportunities for electricians are going to blow you away. We have data centers, we have AI, we have low voltage, we have smart integration, we have renewables, and at the same time, the revamping of the electrical code. All of these things are happening right now, and we need electricians to step up. We need apprentices to say, in the next 4 years, you can have literally anything you want. Just put in the work for the next 4 years and you are set. But here's the caveat. If you just follow what's been established, if you just follow the norms, if you just follow the culture, if you just follow the egos, you're going to lose everything. It's going to take work. But I'm telling you, you put in these effort the next 3 years, you tell me what you want to do. And in 3 years, if you worked on it, I guarantee you, you're going to have it. I guarantee you. It's a shoe in right now. Plumbers, water is still wet. You understand? Hot is still hot. Cold is still cold. Out of all the specialty trades, electrical is getting a whole new facelift. It's brand new. It's heading into a new direction. And this is the opportunity for anyone who wants to become anything in these next few years is going to take up electrical. You have my word on that.
Yeah, that's really good. We have just a minute or two left here, Will. But if 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 you are seeking to be an electrician, if you're joining an apprenticeship program, you've already heard what the trade culture is like, what the industry is like. And if you want to be successful as an electrician, you have got to put out all the noise, all the negativity, all the toxicity that surrounds our industry. And you have to press on and say, hey, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I want to be an electrician. I want to do this for me. I want to do this for my future family. If I don't have one yet, I want to set myself up and my family up for success. And when you join an apprenticeship, it is such a crucial point in your career, because you're going to be faced with these things. Unfortunately, you're going to be put in the room and you're going to have to decide, am I going to go down that route with those guys, Or am I going to be in the minority and go this way and no one's going to stop me?
I love that.
Do you have any last final words, Will?
I'm just excited for everything to come. I'm excited for everything to come. I can't wait to see you guys really take full advantage of what's going on. Ignore what's bad, take what's good.
Amen, brother. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining in, and y'all stay safe out there. Those of you affected by the winter storm, and hopefully we will see you guys on Monday.